great atmosphere in Mizzou Arena. I thought our crowd definitely impacted the game. Again, congratulations to Coach Eli Drinkwich and his program. Unbelievable achievement, being able to be in a New Year's Six Bowl, the Cotton Bowl. That's a major accomplishment. Great for his career, great for our program, great for this city, great for this institution, great for the SEC. So my hat's off to his entire program. I wish them luck moving forward, he and his players. The game was a game where I thought we shot out of a cannon, so to speak, and we were able to do that defensively, which led to our lead. Credit Wichita State, they did not give up. They kept battling, making runs throughout the game, but every time there was a run, I thought our players responded with a big-time play, and I believe it was threes that allowed us to open the lead. There were some plays that didn't go our way, but we did a tremendous job being physical, getting to that foul line and executing. To be able to go, I believe, 23 for 25 from the free throw line, that's where the game is won. That's where the game is won, and I credit these guys up here to my right and left for what they've accomplished. Caleb Grill ending up with a double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds. Sean East almost had a double-double with 22 points, 9 assists. So credit them for what they gave to the game tonight.
Questions?
Coach, you started the game again with Tamar in the starting lineup, and then it was like as you were closing, you had Caleb and Connor, and kind of with that core of your usual three. Just what do you feel like you were able to get to with different lineups tonight, and how's that process?
Well, I thought the guys who started earned that position. Nothing against the guys who did not start. They still had great practices going into it. So I just kept the camaraderie of what we did last game and see what it would look like this game. And we got off to a great start. So I credit the starters for being prepared. Guys are sort of falling and getting into their roles a little bit better, which is outstanding. I just think the big picture is you have depth. You want to keep guys on the court as you read the game. And I wanted free throw shooters. He was our best rebounder, so I wanted Caleb in the game because not only was he a great rebounder, he was defending in the right spot, and he was able to get down and run down some plays or loose balls that I thought was in our favor.
How would you evaluate both Aiden Shaw and Tamar Bates' performances tonight?
Well, Aiden Shaw did a tremendous job. He came away with 3 blocks, which is great, and he played 13 minutes, ended up with 5 rebounds. So you look at that calculation, that's one rebound every what? 2.5 minutes or something like that? 2:45, somebody got a calculator? But analytically, he met his goal. I want him to be a rebounding threat by a rebounding percentage. So if you look at player efficiency rating, I'm not worried about made or missed field goals. I'm looking at rebounds, I'm looking at assists. He had 0 turnovers and he had 3 blocks, which is tremendous. Tamar Bates had a couple plays. I think he got unaggressive because of a turnover, but defensively he ended up with 3 steals. And I thought that one steal with a fast break dunk ignited our crowd, and he was able to bring us some stability out there whenever he was in. Again, Caleb Grill had a great game, so he went up plus 25 minutes, and we saw Ant Robinson in there and also Kurt Lewis from the perimeter.
Caleb, along the lines of what Coach was talking about, just can you take us through the process of kind of trying to settle into a role with a new team, and does that take a couple minutes to figure out, and do you feel like you've really done that in the last few games?
Yeah, I think I just try to stick with what Coach Gates has told me. Obviously it's a different system, but just what he says and what the coaching staff says, I just try to do it to my best of my ability. And I think it took a couple games to get adjusted, but now I feel comfortable with what's going on.
Caleb, I want to go back to the start of the game because you missed a layup and then it seemed like frustrations were getting to you, but during a dead ball, Gates kind of said something to you, and then to use your expression, you kind of shot out of a cannon with your performance tonight. And so I'm just wondering, what was it that Gates said to you, if you remember it, and how do you kind of manage emotions in games like this?
Coach, when I come out of games, he just tells me I'm doing a good job, and he does a really good job of keeping it positive, and then he'll correct you. But he just kept my head up, and then I went back in there, and I still felt confident like I was from the beginning of the game.
I look at the positive when it comes to Caleb. When you have a guy play with the passion that he plays with, I make sure I meet him with some words of affirmation, meet him with some coaching, because a kid And I played the same way. I had to make sure I left room for my coaching staff to coach me because I was so critical on myself. And that's where we kind of work with Grill about most of the time. I simply told him, hey, don't worry about that play, go get the next one. And he played a tremendous game. I look at the steal that he had on that play. Now, I don't know what he did with a behind the back finger roll, but we'll look at the film. But the play, that steal, was one of our 13 steals in the game, and I thought he did a good job of not being over upset about a possible foul call. And that's where I see his growth continuing to help us. The small victories within the game, being in the right position, trying to get deflections. We want to look at those plays versus just trying to make one big play, and ultimately he was able to make several small plays that led into him getting 10 rebounds, 13 points. He missed a wide open three, but he came back and made a wide open three and was able to make some big shots for us.
Caleb, what was it like playing your dad's old team today?
It was nothing new, just a new scouting report, just sticking to the game plan. Like, it was just another game, so I never really even thought about it when I was out there.
Sean, speaking of roles on the team, I mean, I'm sure you came into the year knowing this, but what's been your mentality adjustment? Last year you might have had a couple guys that were kind of the go-to guys when it got late, and you kind of seem to have become that guy in the last few weeks. What's the mentality change maybe from last year being to this year in your role?
No different mentality. I always had the same mentality, but just the game plan has been presenting itself for me to score and make decisions late game. So, I mean, I'm just trying to execute what coach is trying to get out of me, and I'm just trying to be the best leader as possible. So if that's putting guys in the right spot or making the right reads on certain situations, that's what I'm gonna do.
Sean, it seemed like the offense really started to open up in the second half when you started getting paint touches. What did you see that helped you guys start getting buckets after that?
We went to to start the game. We went single and double drags, and we went back to that late in the second half, and we just had some good rolls, some good pop threats, and then Caleb Grill hit like two or three threes. Who else hit threes? Connor hit a pick and pop three. I mean, we was just Nick Honor hit I think a few in the first half. Like, we was just trying to find the weak link in the defense.
You want to tell them what you told me in the hub about the game? When I tried to call plays.
I said, just keep it simple. I mean, I said, keep it simple. We're coming down and getting easy buckets off just a pick and roll and find a mismatch because they was putting two on the ball, or they wasn't guarding me, or the corner guy was helping in to find the skip to Caleb Grill. So we was kind of panicking a little bit. So I'm like, just keep it simple, and we're gonna get open looks that we want.
And I tried to call a play, but as soon as I tried to call a play, it was a turnover on the other end, and they converted it to a basket. So I immediately shut up and listened to my guys. But they made great plays. Nick Honor, Sean East was able to make some great plays off the bounce and keep them in rotation. And our guys were able to set great screens. You look at Jordan Butler, his points off the screen and roll into that basket. Sean was able to find them. In addition to the throwback threes or in addition to the collapse defense. And then you look at Connor Vanover's plays. It was a couple of them off lobs as well. So that's the simplifying the game. But thanks to Coach Sean East, I listened, I paid attention to the game. He rescued us again and got me out of the way of myself as I tried to call some plays, and he audibled like a true quarterback.
Sean has his fifth 20-plus point game today, but also he led the team with 9 assists.
Yeah.
Just what kind of impact does also he bring, not just as a scorer, but also as a facilitator for your offense?
Well, I think when you look at stats, Sean wants to win, first and foremost. He loves to win. He's a competitor. You should see him in practice if his team ever loses, right? He does not, he hates to lose. And when he's looking at anything other than win, loss, it's not about stats, it's about assists, if anything. And, being responsible for 18 points or even more if you count the threes. He had anywhere from, you look at the 22 points, it's probably 50 points he was responsible for, but also his assist attempts. So when it comes down to our team, I'm proud of Sean's development, but I'm also proud of how he stays connected and he knows the pulse of our team. He knows when to get someone a shot. He was the first one to get Noah Carter and say, hey, keep shooting it. Try to encourage him because he was 1 for, I believe, 9, 1 for 6 from 3, and they were wide open. He was the first one to tell certain guys to be able to shoot the next one. So he reads the game in a great way. Their experience, his experience, and all of our guys' experience helps. But defensively, I look at that part of the game for him too. He's been impacting the game defensively, being able to turn guys, put a little pressure behind on the backcourt, but also get some steals. How many steals you end up with today? 3 steals today. So I credit him playing a complete game.
Dennis, you mentioned earlier in the week trying to get to the line more, that being an issue, a recurring issue. What did you make of that? That's the game today.
Knock on some wood. I'm glad we were able to get to the foul line, but looking at the execution of it, we were 23 for 25, shooting 90%, I believe, and that's a tremendous stat. And those things matter when you look at the ones that we missed. I think Noah Carter missed the front end of a 1-on-1. Sean East missed the first part of a technical foul or flagrant. Those are 2 guys we would still want shooting free throws. And I just thought ultimately being able to execute at that line, but get there. We played aggressive basketball. We got 50-50 balls, and Caleb Grill led us in that category of chasing down loose balls, trying to be able to be a factor or a spark defensively along with Ant Robinson. I thought Ant Robinson played some great minutes, converting some turnovers into points, but he's changing the game, and the way he sees it, he gives his very best at all times, and I'm excited about what I see and how he's continuing to grow. Jordan Butler, I'm going to continue to challenge him from a rebounding standpoint. He got to go from making 2 efforts defensively to 3 or 4. Right now, he's a 2-effort guy, and he has to turn that into 3-4 efforts, no different than you see Caleb Grill. Caleb Grill's probably a 4 to 5 effort guy every defensive possession, and Jordan Butler got to match that.
Caleb, it looked like you.
Coach, you won 4 straight. What do you kind of like about where your team's at right now, and as you guys move into a big one next week?
I have selective amnesia, okay? I couldn't even tell you what we won, but I just want to make sure we're moving our group in the right direction. The most important opponent that we have is ourselves, and our guys will say that. So we're just going to look at the film, continue to get better, but also make sure these guys are focused on this last week of school, because I want them to be able to finish as good as possible academically and have no slip up. So when you do that, I think those details spill into the court. Guys being on time, guys always turning in work. Those details leads to our team discipline. Those are real reps to figure out who we are going to be in the future. And I just thank our guys for what they do each and every day, balancing their schedules, being on time, giving their very best in the community, in the classroom, and then that habit showing up on the court.
Last one to Caleb.
Caleb, it looked like you took a bit of a tumble toward the end of the second half there, kind of down on the court for a little while. Just how are you feeling? What was kind of wrong on that play?
I'm feeling pretty good. I just landed pretty hard, so I was glad to get a little break, and I thank CP, athletic trainer, for being out there for me. So, I feel fine. So.
All right, thanks, guys.